guys, it's Lindsay and welcome back to Blushing Pink Stitches. Today is Saturday, November the 29th and this is Flosstube number 65. I have quite a bit to share with you today. I mentioned in my last video that I was trying out a new rotation. So I have all of the whips that I've worked on. You can see my little pile here from that rotation. I do have a finish and I have 4 new starts. So there's quite a bit to go through today. So why don't we just jump in and we'll talk about things as we go along and any life updates at the end basically. So let's share the finish that I had first, and that is the Frozen Epic Storybook Princesses from Clouds Factory. I stitched this on a piece of 28 count blue even weave just from Zweigart, and I used Royal Embroidery floss and I finished it. So this is it in its entirety. Let me just even that up a little bit. Yeah, so I'm blowing out a little bit over here, but I just had the big snow monster to finish and I think this snowflake up here, and that was it basically. So let's see how many stitches did I do to complete it. Where is it on here? I did 425 stitches to complete it. So this is stitched in Royal Embroidery floss and I'm really pleased with it. I found a little sort of like rectangular white frame on Amazon that I'm going to get to finish it off in, and then it can go in Bella's room. And I put on Instagram that I wasn't sure when I finished it off whether I'm just going to mount it on some foam board and then kind of get some magnets so it can go in the frame, and then I could switch it out if she wants some of the other ones stitched, or whether I'm just going to put it straight into the frame. I don't know. Anyway, so that was my finish. I was really pleased with that. I'd put down as part of my rotation that I wanted to work on my project that was closest to a finish and do 1,000 stitches on it. Well, that didn't need 1,000 stitches, so yeah, I've put a new one on there for next month now, which is great. So let's start going through the whips. This is actually a new start. So this is Bee Duet. It's by Katerina Volkova. I'll leave links to all of these things down below. So you should be able to find a link to my whip spreadsheet, which is shared with everybody. And then all of the patterns that are currently available do have links where you can buy them. So I did complete one of these. There's a set of 5 of these. Can't remember the name of the one that I completed. Oh, I do actually. It was called Sweet Nectar. Spun the wheel for my new starts and this came up, Bee Duet. So I'm stitching this on a piece of 28 count white even weave. It's 2/2 and I'll show you how far I got. It's using Royal Embroidery floss from my master set. So I'll show you this one first. This is Sweet Nectar, all finished. And then, like I said, I started on Bee Duet and the colours are lovely in this one. Love all of those purples. There are some blends in these patterns, so that's something to be aware of, but the shading is just amazing. Yeah, and they're not very big. So I ended up doing 1,016 stitches on that one, and let's have a look where I'm at. 25.5%. So yeah, that isn't going to be a big pattern that I'll be working on for a long time, but they're just so lovely, that I would eventually like to do all 5 of those. So that was one of my new starts. This is a whip. So I worked on this one in October as well. This is Forest Stream. It's by Svetlana Cross Stitch. It's beautiful. So it does have some back stitch in it as well as the full crosses, and it does have some blends. So yeah, So I did on this one, let's have a little look. For the whips, I'll put pictures up on the screen of where they were before. I did 715 stitches on this one, and this passed the 20% mark. So this is now at 20.86%. So let's hold up where this one is. There we go. So the way I'm working this one is I'm just doing a 10 by 10 row at a time and sort of working my way across, but then taking the threads wherever they go, because I am a cross-country stitcher in general. I don't just stitch block by block and park. I hate parking. So it just doesn't work for me. So yeah, that's where we're at now, and you can see a lot more of the shape of the trees coming in. Yeah, the detail is starting to come out now, which is really lovely. That's that one. Next one is mini new solar system. Just switch my tablet back on. This one, the artwork is by Adrian Chesterman and it's charted by Artisy. So this is another one of my smaller full coverages. I'm stitching this on 25 count 1/1 full cross, which is generally how I do all of my full coverage. And this one I'm using raw embroidery threads. So for mini new solar system, let's have a little look. Mini new solar system, I did 763 stitches and I am at 20.01%. So this is another one that hit the 20% milestone this time around. So that's where we're at with this. So I'm just trying to finish this page off here, and I'm not very far away from doing that. I think I've got, I'm on the last row. I'm on the last row to finish that page off. So yeah, that's what that's looking like. The detail in it for a mini is really impressive. I do like the Artisy patterns for that. She does a great job, Tarina, of like, I mean, she does have some bigger patterns on there, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to the minis, you're still getting a good amount of detail in there, even though it's a bit more of a manageable pattern. So yeah, right, this one is, I'll just get this up again. Here we go. So this is Spring Montage. The artwork is by Janet Stever and it's charted by Pain Free Crafts. This is a retired pattern now, unfortunately. But this time around on Spring Montage, I did 698 stitches and I am at 3.43%. Here we go. So I started working on the second page. Yeah. And this is where I got up to. So yeah, there was a lot of fill-in of background with this one so far. But yeah, and the way I'm going to be working these montage patterns, and maybe even some of my other full coverages, is to do a page over here, page down here, to do the pages diagonally. So I'm not really in general a diagonal stitcher in terms of like row by row or column by column or anything like that, but I thought actually to do the pages in a diagonal way would be a good idea. Because for example, if I just went all the way across, this would all be quite samey. And look at this block here, there's like almost nothing in it. So I figured if I do one here and then you get to do a bit of this like flower and butterfly one, another one of this, like then this starts to come in. Like I think that's like a more interesting way of tackling it. So yeah. I thought I could hear my car on the driveway then. Stefan's taken Bella dancing this morning, so yeah, must have just been a car driving past. Okay, so this next one is still a whip, but it's also a restart. So it's been on my whip list the whole time, but if you remember, I mean, maybe you don't, but at the beginning, when I did my whip parade at the end of last year or the very beginning of this year, I wanted to restart this one using the Jan's conversion from Jan Hicks Create. She's got a blog where she has all of her conversions on there, and she did a conversion where there were more sort of like pinks and the black in the pattern was turned into 939. So I'll put a picture up on the screen, maybe like of the mock-up, because I'd have charted this into a saga file with the new colour scheme. So I should be able to get a mock-up out of that. Anyway, I'll try to put up on the screen the mock-up of what the conversion looks like. And I wanted to do it on 28 count as well, because I was doing it on 32 count, and I just, you know, that 28 count is my sweet spot. So I restarted it using the colours. I did 1,347 stitches, and this is at 3.22%. So this is how far I got. I'd done more on the other one. I think I'd maybe done 2,500 stitches or 3,000 stitches, something like that. I don't remember. Had it on Markup RXP, so I could look at how many I'd done. But yeah. So the way I'm stitching this one is again diagonally. So I'm looking at the 10 by 10 block, and then I'm going to the next one, and then the one down, and the next one. And again, that's like been quite a nice way for me to work on lots of my patterns and just get things done. So I love the colour palette of this one. It's so lovely. And this is raw embroidery floss as well. So part of Jan Hicks Creates conversion, she does use some fancy floss, but she also gives you the DMC equivalent, and I'm just using the DMC but as raw embroidery. So yeah, really pleased to have got some work on that, because I haven't worked on that all year, and I was keen to restart it. So now I have. Okay, this one is another new start. This is the Winter Design Sale by Susan Bates. This is a stitch along in the Cotton Club Crafts Stitchers Circle, which is like a subscription of you pay a certain amount of money every month. I think it's something like £8.50, and you get access to all of the patterns that are in there. And there's lots of different designers. Susan Bates is one of them, and there's a seasonal pattern. They've just finished releasing the autumn one actually. So my friend Becky and I are stitching these together. And I did, this is on Pattern Keeper, so it doesn't include the back stitch, but I did 1,155 stitches, and I'm at 13.10%, but without the back stitch. So I'm stitching this on a piece of 28 count even weave from Coffee Craft Fabrics. It was the June 2025 fabric of the month, and I'm using Royal Embroidery floss. These are the colours so far, and I made these sort of like wintry floss drops. They're really cute. Is there another? I thought there was a third design in that. Oh yeah, like the Christmas jumpers, like wintry jumpers. So yeah, I really like those floss drops. And this one I'm doing sort of like section by section. So I started in the corner and then I moved across here, and I'm just going to do, each time I pick it up, I'm going to try to finish a section off. So I got done the flowers, and then I started on the jumper and the hat. So I did all of the back stitch as well. What I did change, this snowflake up here was supposed to be in like a blue colour, and it wasn't showing up very well on my fabric, so I changed that to like B5200 or something like that. Did all of the backstitch, and there's quite a bit of backstitch in there. And then you've got like these frames that go around each of the motifs and some words. And then I started on the jumper and the hat. So, and I love it on this fabric. It's just really fabulous. So, yeah. So that was another new start. And I think this is my last new start. So this is a dimensions kit. Let's go over to this on my other thing. Where is it on here? Oh, here we go. So this is 3 bird watchers. You can get this. This is still available, I think, as a newer kit, but the one I've got is like an older one, so I had to like sort the threads. And it comes with 18 count ivory Ada, and then all the threads that you need. I bought this off of Marketplace. It's supposed to come with a needle, but the needle wasn't in here, but that doesn't matter. So yeah, this one, I'm using all of the kit materials. I did make myself cat floss drops. So I just, oh, cat and bird ones. So I'd made birds ones for a different pattern. So I printed some of those off because you got birds in the pattern. But then I also made some cat ones. They're so cute. Let me show you some of the other, because there were 3 designs. This is one of the other ones. And this is the 3rd one. They're so cute. So, yeah. So I worked on this for a few days. I did 1,059 stitches, and I'm at 4.02%. And so far this is a mixture of half cross and full cross. And it's just a lot of background, basically. I started top left. So yeah, you've just got like the walls and the window frame coming in. So there's not an awful lot to see. But I got quite a lot done. I think it's because I've got the bathroom window open. I can hear people going past. Anyway. Yeah, so there's that one. I think those are all of my new starts now. Okay, other whips that I worked on, living in my fabulous mouse bag, is Fairy Tale Town. I worked on this yesterday actually. This is a kit by Abrasart. I'm using the kit threads, but I switched out the Ada for a piece of 32 count Summer Skies by Sparklies that I was kindly gifted. So yesterday I did, let's have a little look, 539 stitches, and I'm at 2.36%. So this is where I got to. I'm just kind of working this section by section. So I'm kind of bringing this little sort of like column down, I suppose. And then I'm going to do sort of like the next column across. But again, like just running my colours along if that's where they're going to go. Again, there's some half stitch in here. And there is back stitch to go as well, but I haven't included any of that. So I just kind of worked on bringing this across. And so I got more of this bush in. And then this sort of more of this background. I love it. It's really cool. And it's lovely on this fabric as well. So that's that one. Okay, next one is Kakeshi Dolls. This is a pattern by Joan Elliott. I don't know if you can buy this as a pattern now. I'm not sure. Anyway, this is what it looks like. It was in the World of Cross Stitching magazine. So it's this issue here. It's issue 200. And you can just see it up here. So, I don't know where it is in here. Here we go. So that's it in the magazine. So I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count even weave from Coffee Craft Fabrics. It was a fabric of the month quite a while ago now, like years ago. And I did 524 stitches, and I think this went over the 20% mark as well. This is now 22.21%. So I was working on this second little Kakeshi doll. The first one was completely done, although there is some back stitching and French knots, and I haven't done any of that yet. I won't do that until I've completely finished the second one. So yeah, she started to come in here. It's lovely. This is sort of like a purpley fabric. I don't know whether you can sort of get that from the lighting in here. I'll show you the whole of the fabric. Like, yeah, it's got some purples and pinks, and yeah, it's not dark, it is a light kind of like pastel-y colour. So I was glad to get that out again. Okay, this one. Yeah, I had a bit of an issue with this one. I did talk about it on Instagram. Where is it on here? Here we go. So this is a pattern called Japanese Geishas. You can buy it on the Etsy store Milana Art Designs. And I'm stitching this with my friend Amanda. But we're both taking out the backgrounds. We're not stitching the background. So I chose a piece of 28 count even weave, again from Coffee Craft Fabrics. I don't know whether it was a fabric of the month, or now she's labelling them with fabric of the month, what month it is, but she didn't used to do that before. So this one, let's have a little look. Japanese Geishas. I did 572 stitches, and I'm at well, 15.97%. I have marked off like the majority of the background, so I haven't actually stitched 15.97%, so the percentage is a little bit skewed. But I had to do some frogging in this one because I picked it up and I realised, so you'll see that I'd got something here a block too far down. So basically everything that I'd done over here had to come out, which was super frustrating. I think it must have been at least a few hundred stitches that I had to frog out of 28 count over one. It was not a pleasant experience. But then I started on it again, and with this one I'm working on one geisha at a time and kind of working down her and then bringing it down. So that's where we're at with this one. You can see a good amount of detail in her hair, which is lovely. And I am having to kind of delete some of the extra background as I go as well, because when you delete background off of a pattern like this, it's not an exact science, is it? Because like some of their robes are similar colours to the background. Yeah, it's just not an exact science. So, but there you go. Got some more work on that. This one I hadn't worked on all year, and I have a saga file for this now. So this is Flowers of the Month. It's a free pattern that you can download from Ellen Moira Stroh. So this is all of the patterns. Some people have stitched these as a piece all together. Like I remember Jemima the Rocking Stitcher doing that, and Amy from Amy Loves Toads. But I'm choosing to stitch them singly. And then I'll display them like as little pillows or something like that. And I chose also that I wanted to add in some backstitch at the top and the bottom that showed the month and the type of flower that it was. So that is what mine is going to include, basically. So I did 1,050 stitches on this, and where is this? And I'm at 6.16%. And I had to do a little bit of frogging just because when I charted this, I decided I wanted the month over this way and the name of the flower over this way, and I'd done it the opposite way round when I started this, so I frogged that out and put it back in again. This is on a piece of 32 count white linen, and I'm using DMC threads from my stash, and this is where we got to. So yeah, so originally I had January up here and Carnation down here, but I just switched those over. Yeah, looks really good. I was enjoying that. Just gonna go back in there. Oh, sorry, I bumped the camera, or I bumped the tripod, I should have said. Okay, a big pile down here to clean up afterwards. This next one is Parisian Bicycle. This is by a kit by Dimensions. So with this one, here we go. I did, I'm not going to be able to add that together. I'm at 14.73%, and I ended up doing 712 stitches. So this is where I got up to. So what I've been trying to do is work on this flower basket, one thread on this, one thread on the tyre of the bike, because this is a bit bitty, and then this one is like block stitching. So alternate between the two, and that's where we got up to. This is using kit threads and kit Ada. The Ada's a 14 count light green Ada. So yeah, it's not a particularly big Dimensions kit. Plug away at it. We've got 2 left. So this one I stitched on as part of alphabet stitching. So I was going to do 2 letters a month, but I've switched that now. From next month I'll do 1 letter of the alphabet a month and pick a pattern that kind of fits in with it in some way. So this one is Ariel in the Bottle. It's by, I think it's Victoria Ivchenko. Again, you'll be able to see that on my WIP spreadsheet if I'm wrong about that. Where's Ariel in the Bottle? I did 539 stitches on this one, and I'm at 19%. So this is being stitched on a piece of 32 count even weave from Megan at Coffee Craft Fabrics, and I'm using raw embroidery floss, and I made some mermaid floss drops for this time around. I had to do a bit of frogging on this as well. So this is where this is at. So when I picked this up, I was working on Flounder, and I realised that something in her hair down here was too far over. So I had to pull out some of the yellow in Flounder and the red. Yeah, so we had to do some frogging in this one as well. But she's really cool. I probably should have started her at the top because I feel like I've wasted quite a lot of fabric, but oh well. Yeah, this fabric is a bit more turquoise. A bit more aqua than it's showing on the camera. It's showing sort of more dull. But yeah, there we are with that one. Actually, I've got 2 to go because my big one. Oh, and I'm not done with the new starts either. This is Winter Unicorn. It's by a designer called Avastia Stitch. So you can buy her patterns from Boosty, I think. Can you get them on my bobbin? I can't remember. Anyway, there'll be a link in my spreadsheet. So she has one of these for every season. She hasn't got the summer one yet. I have the spring and the winter, and I need to buy the autumn. And then as soon as she brings out the summer, I will add that to my wish list as well. But they're just so incredible. So pretty. So this one I decided to start on a piece of 28 count even weave from Megan at Coffee Craft Fabrics. This is like majorly a free advert for her, isn't it? And I'm using raw embroidery floss from my master set. Apart from, it does call for some metallic thread. It's just DMC metallic thread. So for example, I used a bit of E145 or 415, sorry. So I'm using the DMC for that. This one I did 1,055 stitches, and I'm at 8.86%. So this is my start. So because of the colour of the fabric, I suppose it's a bit more tricky to see, especially in this light. And there's a lot of half stitches at the top, so they're not quite so obvious. But I did the snowflakes on the last night of the rotation of this, and then you could start to see some good progress. So there's a lot more half stitches to go before you get into the unicorn. But this is going to be so good, and I'm going to love it on this fabric. And this time around, I did start it at the top in the middle, and I put it 3 inches from here, so I will have a little bit of this left afterwards. It's so pretty. So yeah, really, really happy with that. Okay. Last one is, of course, my Focus Full Coverage. It is super size, max colour, a stitching shelf. The artwork is by Amy Stewart, and it's charted by Heaven and Earth Design. And at the moment, I have done 244,757 stitches, and I'm at 34.31%. So I never know how many stitches I've done in between. I do calculate how many stitches I do a month, but I don't do it until the month is over. And I mean, looking at my previous months, like a typical month of working on this is around 4,500, 5,000 stitches, something like that. So this is where we got up to. So I've got 3 columns left on this page, and then this will be finished. And I was having a look last night at my full coverage statistics for like previous years, and this is basically on track to, I'm on track to do the same number, a similar number of stitches this year than I did last year as well. So that's really good. I just want to keep up that momentum on it. So I do plan, I probably will do a little plans video. I'm not making loads of plans for next year. But I do plan on doing a full coverage monogamous month on this again next year. I don't know what month that is going to be yet. sometimes I just kind of play it by ear. This year I did February. Last year I did June. I think the year before that I did May. And that's how long I've been working on it for. So yeah. Really pleased with how that is trucking along. And I do also want to work out like how many pages I've done across the year as well. I sort of want to write that down for this one too. Try and work it out for like previous years as well. Because this one has, I think it has over 100 pages. Some of those are partial pages. I don't know how many of those I've done. I'm not sure. Anyway, that is all of my whips. I did work on some temperature pieces as well, but I'm not going to show you those until I've done a 1,000 stitch rotation on them. So I haven't been posting about my temperature stitching on Instagram, and I'm not going to talk about it here until I get to 1,000 stitches, because I think showing you bitty, this is 100 stitches of this or whatever, is to me not worth it. So I'd rather you see like a big amount of progress at once. I think that's a bit nicer. Anyway, so yeah, I was working on that as well. I am really liking this new rotation. It gives, because it's a nice blend of working on my whips in manageable chunks, because a lot of them is just like a 500 stitch goal, having some new starts, and pulling some things out that I bought kitted up ages ago or recently, and then thinking, oh yeah, I do really want to start that, and I'm going to continue with that because I really do like that, and I'm not bothered at all how many whips I have. So I'm just enjoying myself basically. And then the temperature stitching, like I said, has been really good. When I'm at work, on work nights, if I'm working on a rotation of a particular project, then I don't tend to get 500 stitches done in one go. It just doesn't, hardly ever happens, because I get home, once I've done everything for the evening, I do my 100 stitches on the stitching shelf, I do my 100 temperature stitches, and then I work on whatever my rotation piece is. So by the time I'm getting around to doing the rotation piece, I maybe have done like 300 stitches or something on it. So it goes over 2 nights or 3 nights. And on a Tuesday, because I go to sewing class, I get my stitching shelf and my temperature stitches done, and then nothing else basically. So yeah. And what I quite like about having the 500 stitch goal on the majority of them is that on the days where I do get to that 500, like last night for example, I tipped over the 500 mark for Forest Stream, and I could have sat there for another hour and done some more. I was like, I'm going to go up and read my Kindle for a little while, and just gives me a bit of an opportunity to do some other things if I want to. But what I have been really enjoying doing is stitching and listening to my audiobooks. I've really got back into that again recently. So what have I finished? This is kind of like an other things conversation, but you know, it leads on. I finished the audiobook for Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. It's a book that I probably wouldn't have ever picked up, but the film is on Netflix. And I really do like the film. I've watched that a couple of times now. There's the credits, the end credits for the film has this song by an artist called Lauren Daigle, I think her name is. And I discovered her for the first time by watching this film. And now a couple of her songs are on my Spotify playlist. So yeah, if you haven't checked her out or you don't know about her, definitely go and have a listen. The ones that I really like are You Say and Something About Regret. Yeah, I can't remember. There's a song that's something about regret. Anyway, those are 2 really good songs by her. So I've watched the film a couple of times on Amazon Prime, and I thought I should really read the book. And so I was able to get it from Borrow Box from my local library, and I listened to it. And the reason why I probably wouldn't have picked it up before is because it's technically classed as Christian fiction. So there are a lot of references to God and religion. And I'm not a religious person, So those things don't really appeal to me, but I would say that it wasn't too heavy in the book, and I really did enjoy it. So I've enjoyed listening to that. At the moment, I'm listening to the third book in the Seven Sisters series by Lucinda Riley. So I'm listening to the Shadow Sister, and I'm really liking that series. Yeah, it's been really good so far. So yeah, those are a couple of the books that I've read recently. Can't remember what the one was before Redeeming Love. Don't remember. Anyway. Yeah, so there we go. So yeah, it's been really good sitting there of an evening or during the day or whatever and listening to my audiobook. I might do an hour and then watch some TV, or I might sit there and listen to it all evening. It's been really, really nice. So yeah. Right. It's haul time. Oh dear. Right. Where should I'll just sit this on my lap, because maybe you can see the top of it on my lap, but it doesn't matter. And I'll just start pulling. So, my lovely friend Susie, that I go to retreats with, she contacted me last week and said that she was selling this Dimensions kit, and did I want it? And I said, oh, yes, please. So this is Christmas jar ornaments. You stitch them on perforated paper, and then they come with this sort of like wire for you to put on the top to hang them. I'm not sure about the wire. I think maybe I will try and attach some felt to the back and then put ribbon, because I don't know, I think the wire looks a little bit unsightly, but I love the ornaments. So yeah, I'm yet to stitch on did I say perforated paper or did I say plastic canvas? I meant plastic canvas. I'm yet to stitch on plastic canvas, so we'll have to see about that. This is a purchase from Vintage. I'd never seen this for sale before, but it is called My, and it's a Gold Collection Petites. So someone was selling it for a very good price. It is an older kit because it doesn't have any of the threads sorted. This says it's from 1998, but when I saw it on there for a good price, I was like, that has to be mine. So when we were at the Ipswich retreat, Megan from Coffee Craft Fabrics was there, and there was a lovely lady who was showing this horse kit that she was stitching, and I've never been much of a horse person, but this kit, the shading on it was incredible. She was stitching it on black fabric, and black fabric is the fabric that comes in the kit. And I was like, you need to tell me the name of that kit, because I have to know what that is. And I was searching for it on Google, and then Megan said to me, Megan was sat next to me, I think I've got that kit at home. Let me see if I can find it, and then you can just have it. But she said, because I'm probably never going to stitch it. And then she found this other horse kit, and she sent me both of them. And I was just blown away by her generosity. So this was the first one that the lady was stitching. It just has a number on here, but it's actually called Andalusian Character. It's a Riolis kit. Look at the shading. It's incredible. So it comes with 14 count black Aida, and then you get all of the threads, and it's a coloured chart. And the threads are Anchor Stranded Cotton. It's 23 colours in here. It's just amazing. And then she had this one. This is 1494, and I've forgotten what the name of this one is. Just give me 2 seconds, because I do have it written down. Oh no, I don't. And maybe I'll put the name of it on the screen here. This is the other one. So again, it's black fabric. And just look at how beautiful that horse is. And what's quite lucky is that I think Bella's going to start horse riding lessons in January, and when she saw these kits, I mean, she says this about everything that I stitch. She's like, I would like one of those in my room. I mean, literally, her room is going to be filled with my cross stitch. But anyway, I figured she might be kind of like a little bit into it. So there we go. Yeah. So this one, again, is 14 count black Ada, anchor stranded cotton. This has 19 colours in it. So, yeah. I mean, you can see, like, it has some purple and blue down here, which you wouldn't really expect. But yeah, that was so generous of Megan. So thank you so much. Okay. That's with that. This was in Megan's Fabric Super Sunday a few weeks ago. I brought this to the Ipswich retreat with the idea. I suddenly thought, wouldn't this look good on like a green piece of fabric, like she's in the forest? Because for ages I've struggled with what kind of fabric to put this on, because I don't like that plain background, and there's a lot of other colours going on. So she said to me while I was there, oh, I've got this fabric that's in Fabric Super Sunday. Do you want me to put a piece aside for you? And it's this. I'm not going to get it out of the packet. I don't tend to do that. But I just think it's going to be perfect for her. So, yeah, it's 28 count even weave, which is what I normally get. So that's a plan. This was the fabric of the month from November from her. It's kind of like a rhubarby colour. It's really nice. So, yeah. And then this one was also part of Fabric Super Sunday, and I just picked it up because I liked it. I've got so many projects with like bits of fabric like this in them, but they're just me, aren't they? So, yeah. This is another Dimensions kit that I picked up, I think, off of Vinted. This is one that I'd wanted for ages. In fact, I'd seen Julie stitching this from She Goes to the Essex Needles retreats. This is called Geisha Beauty. This kit was originally from America, and it's 2006. And I finally found it on Vinted for a great price. So yeah, it has all of the Ada and floss in there. It's 18 count Ada. Yeah, I don't know if the floss is sorted. It probably isn't. There we go. This is the Sparklies fabric of the month for September and October. It's like this very light lilac colour. So that will be useful for something. This had been on my wish list for quite a while. This is an out of print Dimensions Gold Collection kit. And it came up on eBay from a UK seller. And I put in a certain bid for it, and then it got to the last day. And it was like, you know, like when you're waiting for something, you're counting down the last minute. I thought, I just can't let this get away. So I put in like a final bid for it, and I won it. And actually, this is what I won it for, was a really good price. So this is called Horses by a Stream. And I think this went on my wish list. So I'm trying not to get the glare. Let's turn this tablet off. There we go. I think I saw Luda stitching this from Cross Stitch with Luda. I think that's where I originally saw it. And it's just, there's just so much lovely detail in these kits. I just cannot get over how amazing they are. I just got the glare from my camera, so I apologise. Yeah, this comes with 18 count Ada, pre-sorted threads. Does it say what year this is from? 2005. Yeah. So that was like my big indulgence of the month. Okay. And then the rest I think is like Black Friday stuff. Sort of. Anyway, Awesome Pattern Studio were having a sale. And I bought a couple of her patterns. So I bought Mandala Butterfly. And I bought Mandala Unicorn. And there's a dragonfly on there that I was eyeing up the other day. Okay, this is one that I bought from Zana Crosswell. And I've matched it with some fabric. So this is called Neon Halloween. I'd had my eye on this for a while. So it's not completely full coverage. So I decided I was going to stitch this on coloured fabric. So this is a piece of 28 count even weave. I think I got this in a fabric Super Sunday like quite a while ago from Coffee Craft Fabrics. So that is going to go on there. I think that's going to look awesome. So what I'm trying to do some of the time when I buy patterns is kit them up quite quickly with fabric, because otherwise they just sit in my pattern stash for ages. Okay, this one, I wanted this for a little while. This is Sunset at Hogsmeade. This is, you can buy this from Etsy from a shop called Crescents Creative. Again, I'll leave a link to this down below. But Dawn from DM's Crafty Vortex is stitching this. And Leanne from Small Town Stitches is also stitching this. And it looks amazing. So I did buy a piece of fabric to go with it. So that's on the New Start wheel. Okay. This one is, well, actually there are two. That's all the fault of Sarah. Her channel is Sarah Moore, but she's Stitchy Bug on Instagram. I'll leave a link to any channels that I mentioned down below. She just started a Flosstube. The first two videos are out. And she showed this as a whip in her first video. And I had to get it. This is the cross stitch advent calendar from Crochet A Go Go. And I bought a piece of 27 count vintage country mocha from Vigar. It's a fat half. So yeah, that is her fault. I'm blaming you, Sarah, but you know, in a good way, because that's just going to be incredible. I was thinking of starting that in December, but we'll see how it goes. Could start it on Christmas Day, couldn't I? Anyway, and then the other one, she showed in her the second video that she's going to be, what's happened to this? Stitching the monthly charts from Crochet Go Go. So these are called, when you translate it, they're called a window in time. So this is the first four. I bought the first four. They're really lovely. And then I bought a piece of 28 count sand or light mocha even weave to stitch those on. I'm going to stitch them all individually and finish them individually. So the plan is to do one of those a month next year. I don't know how many stitches they are. Let's have a little. So do you have them? Let's see. Like between 1,500 and 2,000 stitches each. It's not too bad. Okay. I saw somebody on Instagram, well, a couple of people I know are stitching this, and so I just bought a piece of fabric for it. You've seen this pattern before. RC had this as a free pattern on their Facebook group. It's called Purple Rain. And I think Sharon from Sharon's Crafty Creations is stitching this, and then Brandy's stitching it too. So when I got the fabric for the window in time, I also bought a fat quarter of 25 count. There's that. Right, Cross Stitch Studio were having their annual 50% off sale, which I believe finishes tomorrow. So this one had been on my wish list for a while. Well, one of the libraries anyway. I bought Dumbledore's library. There are 5 different libraries on there and I was sort of unsure about which one to get, but I spoke to my husband about it and he liked this one and he liked Trelawney's, so I chose Dumbledore's. And so I bought a big piece of 25 count, and I also got like the big multiples of threads for raw embroidery. So for example, there are 30 skeins that you need of 939 if you're going to stitch this over one on 25 count. So yeah, they're all in there. I would love to start that soon. A little pile of haul over here. And I also bought the, I've been collecting the floral alphabet. I want the 3 letters. So last year I bought the letter B. This year I bought the letter L. And I have the letter S on my wish list for next year. So I bought that and I matched it up with this piece of Fabrics by Crafty Kate, April 2025 Fabric of the Month. And it's just a fat quarter and I'll do it over one. There you go. And then lastly, the other day I realised that Stitch is So Beautiful are having like a Black Friday sale, and I bought 2 patterns from them. This one is called Ornaments on the Tree. The artwork is by Ede Jose Rosa, and again I think Brandy was stitching this. It's 400 by 400, so I would like to get some fabric for that. And then I've been looking at these love hearts that are on there. They're from an artist called Adrian G. Eyre, World of Love Hearts. And then I was searching on Instagram for anybody who was stitching one of these patterns. And, oh, what's her name? The Flosstube stitcher. I've forgotten her name, I'm so sorry. Again, like, it will be in the description box below. She's stitching this one and I thought, yeah, it was already in my basket and I thought I'm just going to have to get that. This is called Whimsical Fairy. My mum would love this. She loves fairies, but then so would Bella, so. Yeah, so I got that. 2 patterns from them. They were having a 53% off sale. And then I got, last one is I got a set of summer patterns from My Brave Stitch. I've got the autumn ones. They're called Autumn Street and Autumn Town. These ones called Summer Street and Summer Cafe. And again, I've been eyeing these for a while and they were having like a 60% off sale or something like that. So you can buy them individually, but I got them as the bundle. They're so nice. I've kitted up Autumn Street, I think it is. But yeah, I think that's everything. My bag is now empty. Oh dear. So yeah, it's quite a lot of haul again for December, but yeah, I just love it. It's my passion. Yeah. So, and plus Black Friday hasn't helped, has it? Like, I feel like I stock up on things more than usual in the Black Friday sales. And places like Heaven and Earth haven't even had one yet. Although I don't always buy a pattern from them in the sale just because they have so many sales that you kind of know that they're going to come round again. Anyway, there you go. So plans for December. I started putting together my rotation list based on the rotation that I discussed in my last video. I have adapted it a little bit, so rather than 10 whips on a that I just randomly pick, I changed it to 8. Rather than 2 alphabet letters a month, I changed it to 1. And I think that be a bit more manageable. And if I have some time at the beginning of the month, at the end of the month, then I can just pick some other things. To give you an idea, I've got 3 things left on my rotation for the rest of this month, and we've only got 2 days left. So I'm not going to get to all of those 3 things. But what I also decided is anything that I don't get to gets put on the list for next month. So whatever section of the rotation that it was planned to be on it will be in that section again. So yeah, that's how I plan on doing it. Life-wise, it was Bella's birthday last weekend, so she turned 5. And we had a lovely weekend. She had a party at a place called Clip and Climb, which is like a rock climbing place. We went to the Ipswich one, and she went with 10 of her friends, and she had a really lovely time. So yeah, and she's getting braver every time she goes. I think she's been there like 4 times now, and she got all the way to the top of this high ladder this time around, which is really lovely to see. So yeah, we had her birthday weekend, and then we started putting up the Christmas decorations. So all of those are up now, and my husband did the outside ones yesterday. We've just got some fairy lights above the door. My husband and I had a nice day off together yesterday. He had like a he had a day off basically yesterday, which is very unusual. So we got to spend the day together. We went to this lovely garden centre like in Wickford called Meadowcroft. They have like a German Christmas market there every year. My friend was telling me about it, so we went there, had a little wander around, bought a few things, and then we drove to Chelmsford afterwards. We had a wander around Chelmsford, and we had some lunch in Chelmsford, and then we came home. And what was really nice is that Stefan got to do drop off and pick up for Bella, which, you know, is not really a thing that he's going to get to do very often. So that was really nice as well. And of course, December is right around the corner, isn't it? It's on Monday. So I think by the time you see this, it should be Sunday. But well, Sunday will be the day that it should go up. But yeah, Monday is December, and then we'll be counting down to Christmas. I can't believe we're at this point in 2025 already. So yes, I think that's everything. This video is over an hour, so I'm going to go because that's long enough. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below about what you've been stitching on. If you've got anything in common with me in terms of like the haul that I had, you know, we could stitch some things together. Yeah, I love doing that. And then any other questions that you might have, leave them down below. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.